All right. Wow. Looks like that I was muted for a while. So that was interesting. Okay, so I'm going to have to say everything I just said over again. First of all, welcome to the call. And thank you for being here. This is our weekly group coaching call. Hopefully, you guys can hear me now. And we took a week off because of a holiday, and now we're back. So I'm excited to be here. And I just want to encourage you guys to stay committed and consistent to the training. Now, as I was saying, couple things. Book of the month. I just added some. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, I have a technician working on something for me. Anyway, I was talking about the book of the month, and that's called Start With Why, and that's written by Simon Sinek. I want to recommend all of you add that to your reading. And if you're new to the group coaching, I want to welcome you to the group coaching, but I also want to let you know that as a part of the reading, I have a very basic program on how you can actually get the most out of your reading. Step number one, 15 minutes a day, at least for the first 30 days, consistent without breaking a day. Step two, micro journal what you read. You can find a buddy partner in our group, or you can just simply post it in the group, which I really like, or you can send it to me on email. And then finally, you want to do a call to action. You want to take a new action, figure out what it is that you want to do that's new. Now, some of you have discovered that it's been challenging to stick with 30 days. And, that's revealing, I'm sure, to you to see the challenge that you're having with that. But I want to say that this is a real measure of your potential. And if you can't stay consistent with reading for 15 minutes a day, you got to question whether or not you have what it takes to get to your next level. So be consistent, because the reading is designed to develop new disciplines and habits, but also get new information in you that you're going to need anyway. So I want to encourage you to stay focused on that. If you're new to our group coaching, I like to do a combination of mindset and skill set training. We are right now on a series of a series based on Facebook marketing, and I'll dig into that on the back half of our call tonight. But I'd like to take time to talk with you to try to help you think better so you can be better, and then we'll get off into some actual real world marketing. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into the mindset part of things. Couple things I want to say. I want to talk about what I would consider the 3 Ds of real success that you should be able to accomplish. The 3 Ds. Make this real simple. D number 1 is desire. Desire. And desire is one of those things that we can pretty much get at will, on the fly. You can watch a TV commercial and see a burger and have a desire for it. So desire can come quickly, easily. It's not something that has to be welled up. If there's something that you need, something that you want, and you think about it, you can raise up desire for it. So most of us don't have a problem with desire. Desire is on various different levels, but at the same time, we all have the ability to acquire desire. You have a desire to be a better entrepreneur and business person, so that desire has led you to participate in this group coaching program. So you're benefiting from that desire. Now, within this group coaching program, I'm going to give you some things to do in order to make you better. Now, that leads me to my second D, which is where all of the trouble begins. That second D is discipline. Discipline. This is tough for people. This is the hardest part of success, is being focused on a consistent action. Les Brown says you must be patient and engage in consistent action if you're going to be successful. You have to be engaged in actions that are boring, that are mundane, that are repetitive, that are predictable. They're not fun. There's no enjoyment. It's blah. It's like the wall behind me. It's no real pizzazz, to it. It's just there. And that's discipline. But this is the hardest part of the journey for most people, because they think a lot of things about discipline. I can't really point on one particular thing, but I will say that when challenged with discipline, most people buck against discipline, or they treat it like a diet. They're on it for a certain period of time, then they're off of it. But you have to be like a drippy faucet. You have to be predictably consistent. And that's actually, I have an audio called the 30 Things Top Producers All Have in Common, and being predictably consistent is one of those things. In other words, those around you should automatically know where you are and what you'll be doing based upon that predictable consistency. And without that, it's going to be hard to succeed. So discipline, forcing yourself into a routine, a rut, the type of rut that gets you success. You have a rut of a job, you go to home to work, 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 then weekends, right? Sunday night, you get that stir in your stomach, you get a little headache, you climb into bed to do what? To go from home to work, to home to work, to home to work, to home to work, to live for the weekend, to get to Sunday night, to get that stir in your stomach and a headache, to climb into bed, to do what? Go home to work, to home to work. That's called a routine. It's called a rut. I would say most of you suffer from you suffer from selective discipline. You pick and choose what you want to be disciplined in. I have coached people who can't be disciplined in anything, and it's a real problem. In other words, they have, I know people who have, in a calendar year may go through 3 or 4 jobs because they just can't stick to what it takes to be successful on a job. So everything in their life is based on their inability to be consistent. But selective consistency is you go to work every day, sick, happy, mad, whatever the case might be. But then when it comes to your business, all of a sudden you can't get it done. That's called selective discipline. You select consciously what you're going to do and not do to be consistent. There's really no excuse for it. But that's where a lot of people fall short. Discipline. So if you can't discipline yourself, you can't be successful. It's just that simple. Now, the good news is for those of you that can be disciplined, you start moving into what I call the default phase. All right. Now, what I mean is this. In the discipline phase, in the discipline phase, you're doing things that are hard to do for you. They're hard for you. They may not be hard in and of themselves, but for you, it's hard. Hard to read for 15 minutes a day, as an example. All right. It's hard to call your leads every single day, but you're fighting for that discipline, and you get through a season like 30 days where you're not breaking a day, and you've gotten solid. What happens is, and this is why I keep encouraging you to get disciplined and fight through the reading assignments, is because here's what's going to happen. When you get into the default phase, what was hard to do becomes hard not to do. That's what you want to do. What was hard to do becomes hard not to do. I have a 2-year-old. He'll be potty trained here pretty soon. And I've had 5 kids before him that were potty trained. Now I can tell you that telling a child to flush the toilet is repetitive. Flush the toilet, flush the toilet. You got to be on them. Why? Because it's not something they're used to doing. But I got 5 other kids outside of my 2-year-old, and I've not ever had to remind any of them to do that, to flush the toilet. Why? Because what was hard to do became hard not to do. It was automatic. It was an automatic thing. It wasn't based upon the weather. It wasn't based upon their mood. It's just what you do. Now, how many of you have a problem flushing the toilet? I know it's a crude example, but it's the one thing I know all of you can relate to, that you don't have a problem with that. You can be sick with the flu, right? And totally like out of yourself, but you can flush that toilet because you move through that discipline phase to the default phase. You default to the habits of success. All right. And then once you get through that, success is literally delivered into your hands. I guess deliver could be a 4th D. Success is delivered to you, but you're going to have to go through that process to get successful. And if you keep on starting over and keep on starting over and keep on starting over and keep on starting over, you're going to find yourself older. You're going to find yourself, less inclined to do things. You don't have the energy and you don't have the time you had 10 years ago. You just don't. You probably notice changes with your body, changes with your mind, changes with your environment. You got to get to a point where it matters enough to you to tighten up the ship and do what you got to do. You got to get there. So desire. Good that you have desire. It's excellent that you have desire. It's not enough. Discipline. That's where you got to get strong. You got to get strong in your daily habits. You got to get disciplined. But if you can stay in it long enough to get past the phase of it being hard, it becomes not easy. It just is. It's not hard or easy. It just is. That's where the success lies. That's when money comes easier. That's when business comes easier. That's when people respect you easier because they just expect you to be a certain way. And people are drawn to that. So I hope that helped you today. Desire, discipline, delight. Let's get on it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fight for our success, because until you get to that place, you're going to be challenged. All right. And I have books around me all the time. I just recently started a new marketing program. There's a technology that I wanted to get behind. And it's interesting how I created this Facebook group and I've invited people to come to the group. And a lot of marketers that are in the group are not really understanding the pathway they need to, where they need to get to, which is, I want to transition now to the other part of my conversation about mindset. And I want to talk to you about just some things that I want you to think about when it comes to the ebb and flow of the daily activities of your business. And so here's my point. I created this group, and the group was designed to give education and support to those who want to promote this program. And I also invited people who might just be casually interested in what the opportunity has to offer to connect up the dots. So I've been working really hard over the last week to 2 weeks working on getting the word out. All right. And I'm getting success. Well, I don't expect anything less than that. But here's what I'm experiencing from the people. They will have people ask them questions or challenge them, and then all of a sudden they get shaken. And that always makes me wonder about their commitment. But really, I decided to take a step back and talk about with you guys what I perceive as the problem. And I want to see if you can embrace the solution and see yourself in this process. So here's what I mean. Interest. You know, let's say whatever business that you're involved in right now, it doesn't matter what it is, at some point you became interested in it. You saw a video, somebody came and talked to you, who knows? Interest. You had enough. Okay, so that's the lowest level. All right. You had interest at this level. Now, from the interest, you had to make a commitment. All right. So now we go from interest and we go up a little bit to commitment. So you got interested, said, yep, this is for me. I'm committed. All right. So then from commitment, you say, well, in order for me to get success with this, I got to get active. I got to be doing something. So then you get activity. All right. So then from activity, you do that long enough, you start to get a result. Okay. That result creates excitement. And then you now move into what we call the real work. Okay. So now this is where the problem lies. So now we're up here where the work is. See, the honeymoon is over. See, all the way from here, all the way up to here, it's excitement, it's momentum, is good to go. But when all the excitement goes away, when all the momentum starts to wane, when people start to give you challenges and objections, now we're really working. Okay, we're in the work phase. So now you start to work, and as you start to work, you start to notice things aren't working, things aren't happening. They're happening as fast as I thought they would. So now what starts to happen is you have what we call poor expectations. Poor expectations. Your expectation over here, when you got down here and got interested and got committed, started doing activity, you had an expectation it'll all be good, it'll all be smooth. But now people are not interested. They're not returning your calls. Some people are quitting. Some people are asking for refunds. They're back charging you on commissions. Clients are not, they're MIA, they're not showing up. So now you start to dip because you got that bad expectation. Then when you get into the dip, this is where you start to slide because doubt starts to set in. You start doubting. Doubting leads to questions. Should I be doing this? Am I doing the right thing? Why am I going through this again? Every time I do it, I fail. Right? And you fall all the way down into this valley of despair. And now you hang there until something else comes along that gets you interested. Right? Get you interested, then you get enough interest, you get committed, right? Then you get committed, do some activity. Some activity leads to some results, leads to some excitement, leads to that work. The work isn't what you thought it would be. Now you get that poor expectation, which leads to the doubt and questions, and you make a decision to quit. And now you're in that valley again until you get interested, and then you get committed. My point is this: if you're going to be truly successful, coming in the door, you have to know there's challenges. You have to know there's obstacles. And you got to be able to, when you get to the work level, that you do like this. You fluctuate. Now, you're a human being. I don't expect you to be like, you're not a robot. You're going to fluctuate a little bit. There's always going to be something come along to challenge you. Different days of the week, you feel different. But you keep on working. You don't drop. You don't let failure, you don't let setbacks, you don't let adversity shake your tree. Really? You got to keep going. You get that little bit of fluctuation, Sometimes you get a little more excited, and some days you're just not yourself. I mean, but look, you're still working, still working, still working, still working. But y'all doing this stuff here, nah, it's for losers. It's for the mediocre average people, just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. No. So get off that roller coaster. When you make that commitment, just know that you're climbing that mountain to where the work really is. Know that before you even get going. Know that before you even get going. And when you get to that place, you'll be able to separate yourself from the masses, because everybody else that has moderate to poor success is playing this game, jumping around from opportunity to opportunity, program to program, deal to deal. They had 5 different businesses at the same time, thinking that all of these different opportunities together is somehow supposed to magically make them successful, when everybody that's truly successful knows that you need to dedicate and sell out, focus on one thing. You need to sell out and dedicate yourself. I'm eating, sleeping, and drinking and dreaming, and this new program I'm doing. I haven't promoted anything in 2 years almost, but I believe this is a good spot for me, so I'm like sold out to it. But when I got interested because I saw a 10-minute video from a friend of mine, and I called him and I said, hey man, tell me more about this thing. And he told me about it. He told me what the opportunity was, and I got committed. Right? I got committed. I started doing some heavy activity. I'm buying yard signs, putting ads on Facebook, making phone calls, text messaging people, going at it hard, right? What happens? Start getting results. Multiple people start buying this product. I built a Facebook group that's got over 100 people in less than 3 days. A lot of activity, a lot of excitement, right? And then those people get in the group. And so guess what? Now I hit this plateau where the work really begins, where I'm calling leads back and people are like, well, I never left a message. I don't know what you're talking about, hanging up on me. Yeah, I thought I was interested, but I checked it out, and, stuff like this, I'm not interested. I'll jump. But I already knew that was going to happen because it happens every time I do something. So I'm in that fluctuating period. Now, while people are trying to come up with ridiculous questions, come up with excuses, trying to find the negative, trying to find the holes, those people will slide down, because as the people around them do that, they cause doubt and they start to slip away, and then they'll wander off into something else. But I really believe there's $1 million opportunity here in the next 3 years. So that's why this particular program I'm doing is I'm going to stick with. But who knows what the future holds? It doesn't matter. I'm committed because I believe in it. But I believe in myself more than I believe in it anyway. So, but I'm in that phase right now. So be committed. Do the work. You got to get to the point where it's just another day at the office, no matter what happens to you. Somebody quits, just another day at the office. Somebody wants a refund, just another day at the office. Somebody tries to challenge you on something better, smarter, faster, whatever, just another day at the office. I had a guy ask me today, so how does your product compare to the other things on the market? He had told me he'd been doing all this research. My response to him was, well, you've been doing all the research. You tell me how it compares. Because he wanted me to get into this posture of trying to convince him. And that's not my person. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in working with people who want to work with me. And if he wanted a comparison, he could do his own comparison. That might sound like counter to sales training and all that, but I'm like real people. And if you're going to compare, I'm not going to do anything that's going to necessarily convince you otherwise, because you probably already know what you want to do anyway. What I can do is give you my personal experience, give you my belief, but to try to get into a convincing posture, that's just not my style. I want you to be able to make a decision and believe it's for you. I don't even know why I told you that. Maybe it helps somebody. All right. So that's the first half of today's training. I hope you got some value out of those 2 things related to mindset. So with that being said, let's do a jump on over to our Facebook training here. And then we're going to wrap this thing up. So give me 2 seconds to get those slides up. Actually, I need to do screen share first. Okay, so now it looks freaky. All right, if you guys, I'm going to be doing a screen share, so if you guys cannot see my screen, just let me know. All right, hopefully you guys can see this, and let's get rocking and rolling. So picking up where we left off from last week's training on Facebook, Today I want to talk about how to set up your first ad campaign with split testing. Okay, so here's the first thing you got to understand about a split test. In marketing, now what's cool about Facebook in marketing is that in most cases, you cannot do a split test. If you do a radio ad, a TV ad, newspaper ad, you're going to invest the money and you're going to hope it works. You're not going to be able to do a test, okay? So a split test gives you the ability to basically run a contest between two different ads. And the idea of the split test is to figure out other two ads, which one actually converts the best. So there's the definition, A and B testing, A versus B. All right, it's a controlled experiment. Just think of it that way. So you comparing stuff like clicks, completions of an application, how often somebody purchased on one ad versus another, that kind of thing. So some things that you want to split test are headlines, headline A versus headline B. Now in Facebook, when you set up your ad and you upload two images, it's automatically going to set up a split test. So that's going to be the first thing you test on a split test on Facebook. But here are the things you want to split test overall. So headline A versus headline B, image A versus image B, text copy A versus text copy B, call to action A versus call to action B. Testing. Don't guess. Don't experiment. Test it out. See if. So here's the purpose. Here's really the foundation of testing. You want your audience or the people you're marketing to tell you how they want you to market to them. It's literally that. The percentages tell you. These people are saying, we prefer that you position your marketing or your opportunity to us in this manner. This as in the one that wins. So headline A versus headline B. If headline A gets more responses than B, then your market is saying, we would like you to use headline A to market to us. When you look at your images and image B gets more results than image A, your market is saying, we would like you to use this image instead of the other one to market to us, and so on and so forth. And by the way, I forgot to always tell you guys, my 2-year-old son is still here and still up, and you're probably hearing, yes, sir, there's lights. Okay, he wants to say hi, so I'm gonna let him say hi. What? You got to get out of here. I'm working. This is how you eat, buddy. Okay, so say hi to everybody. Say hi. Hi. Say hi. You love everybody? Huh? You can kiss. You can kiss. Mwah. All right. So if you guys give me 2 seconds, I'll find someone to take him off my hands, and we'll get right back to our training. What you doing, man? Jeez.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. All
right. Daddy. Daddy.
Okay. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 2 seconds. Bro, can somebody help me with training in the middle of my training? My Sunday. Can you get somebody to get trained in the middle of my Sunday training? You just get a bunch in the room. Okay. And I'm back. All right. So graphically speaking, here is what it would look like. Ad A versus ad B. So you have your traffic coming in to your ads, and so person number 1 sees ad A, person number 2 sees ad B, and it keeps toggling back and forth as new people come into your system. So you see ad A gets you a 23% return or conversion, and then the other one is 16%. So obviously A would win, and we would get rid of B and just run with A. It's pretty straightforward, right? All right. So step number 1 in this process is you obviously have to choose your objective. What is it that you want to do in your Facebook ad? Are you trying to boost your posts, promote your page, send people to your website, so on and so forth. In this example, we're just going to talk about sending someone to our website. Okay? Now, split testing. You want to first split test the images. So here I have an example of someone selling hair, okay, or hairstyles or salons styles, whatever. Primarily hairstyles. Why I chose these pictures. So you want to split test the two and see which one is going to convert the most for you. Okay. Step 3 is collect data. Now, in this example, we're talking about the click-through rate. And you might recall in the other training that we did before, we defined the click-through rate. It's very simple. It's the number of people who actually click on your ad versus the total number of people that actually saw the ad. That's what the click-through rate basically is. So as you're running your split test, you're going to see that your ads are performing at a certain level. And in Facebook, you can do up to, I believe it's 5 images, if I'm not mistaken. I usually only do 2. I never do that many. I never do that up to 5, but you can do up to 5. So let's say you did 3 or 4 images. And you'll notice here on the arrow has an inactive. So what you'll discover is, as you look at your click-through rate on this example, the one that's inactive is the one that was the worst click-through rate. So why keep spending money on something that you know is not going to perform? And that's the cool thing about a split test. So imagine if the one that's inactive is the only one that you had because you didn't know the split test. Well, you automatically are setting yourself up for not having optimum results because you just weren't testing it. You guessed that, oh, I like the way this image looks. I like the way this test sounds. So let me use it. Well, the marketplace doesn't like it as much as you do. And it doesn't matter what you like. It matters what they like. So you collect your data and you make your decision on what ads are going to remain and what ads are going to go. And of course, you pick your winner. In this case, this one here at the top had a 5.8% click-through rate. So it clearly was the winner. That's the cool thing about split testing. You can minimize waste. You can minimize waste. So remember, when you do your test, your first ad test is 3 to 5 days and all that. I won't go over that again, so go watch that video. But you pick your winner. Then once you pick your winner, you do a similar ad. Okay, so in this case, we picked our winner, and we know what the image ad is, we know what the text is, and all that. So we now want to do another one that's very similar to it. So we'll keep the same image, but we may change the headline. We'll keep the same image, but we may change the body text. We keep the same image, but we may change the call to action. Small tweaks to see if you can squeeze more juice out of that ad. Okay. And that's what I just was talking about a second ago, is additional elements. So we know that the image is a winner because that's the first thing we can test on Facebook as a split. Now we can go back and do a similar test by running 2 ads to have varying data in different areas like the headline, the text, and the call to action. This is what's going to help you to optimize your results when it comes to your Facebook marketing. Make sense? Now, as we wrap up, I want to talk about what I like to call stalking people. Now, here's my point. Have you ever felt like an ad was following you? You've gone to, let's say you've gone to Amazon to look up a frying pan. Okay, you're looking up a new frying pan on Amazon. You're like, yeah, okay, great price. But you weren't ready to buy it, or maybe something happened and you weren't able to make that transaction happen. Well, later on that day, you realize you hadn't been on Facebook all day to kind of see what's going on. You log on to Facebook, and lo and behold, there's that frying pan you was just looking at. And you go, how did this frying pan just happen to show up on my Facebook feed? That's pretty interesting. You think it's coincidence. Nope, it's not. It's intentional. Marketing today on Facebook and other websites, and Facebook's not the only one that does this, but this whole concept of stalking customers has increased profits statistically 40 to 60% because it keeps that person's product in front of their consumer long after the consumer has decided to just look. So you want to be in a position where you're stalking them. And when we talk about stalking, the real word is called retargeting. Retargeting. That's what you want to do with your ads. This is something that you can do when you run your ads. You can create a retargeting campaign. So what does that mean? What that means is you set up your initial ad and you want to send people to your website, and you have a frying pan for sale, and they come to your website from your Facebook ad about the frying pan and they see it. Well, what happens is when they land on your page, you have a code on your website that drops a pixel, that's what they call it, onto their computer. It's a tracking pixel, which activates another type of ad similar to your first one to reposition it in front of them the next time they're on their Facebook account. Okay? So when you serve Facebook ads on Facebook to people who visited your website and left without converting, that's what happens. You're retargeting that person. And your ad is slightly different on the retargeting side of the world than it was in your original one. For example, you may have an ad that on the front end talks about what the frying pan can do for them. Like, hey, you know, no stick frying pan. You know, you can cook anything in there, never have to worry about it sticking, right? So they came looking at that. Now, they left without buying. They didn't convert, but they get back on their Facebook that day or the next day, and you have a retargeting ad that says something like, still need that non-stick frying pan? So it's the same ad, but it's slightly different. You might even use a slightly different picture or the same picture, but you say something like, hey, still need that non-stick frying pan? You get it right back in front of them. And you'll close more business when you do that. What's the goal of retargeting? To put your product, your service, your opportunity, your brand to the top of their mind. To the top of their mind. So in this example here, you see we're using a custom audience. We talked about this already. A custom audience. So you create a custom database and they match it. Facebook matches those emails to some Facebook user, and then you create a custom audience. And from there, you start targeting those people. So when I said retargeting from the custom ad, these are people that actually opted into your website. So that's another retargeting approach. Some people that just land on the site and leave, while others may take the action of opting in to see more of what you have, and you can retarget them as well. So here are the 4 ways that you can retarget: website traffic, fans, email lists, and lookalike audiences. Well, when someone visits your page with the custom audience code, we call it an off-site pixel, they're added to your custom audience list in the Facebook Ads Manager, and you can retarget them that way. Fans, okay? So if you have a fan page, you want to retarget them because it's easy. When you set up your ad, you just choose to target the people who are already fans. Number 3 would be email. So you just need an Excel spreadsheet, a file with the columns would have at least the email addresses on it. Once you have that, you go to your audiences in your ads manager, click create audience and choose custom audience, and boom, now we can retarget people. And number 4 would be a lookalike audience. Now, okay, so essentially this is like so a lookalike audience would be somebody who is interested in golf clubs, you know, the swinging of, you know, the physical club itself. But the lookalike audience will be somebody that's interested in golf gloves. Very similar audience. They're very likely to be interested in your products because, well, the other product that you promote is very similar, or within it, just makes logical sense. If you sell detergent, a lookalike audience will be bleach. It will be fabric softener. It will be laundry booster, you know, stain remover, that kind of stuff. All right. So that concludes our training on Facebook for this evening. All right. Wanted to keep it very simple and very basic. But again, this should flow seamlessly for you if you've been going through the other training that we have been doing all throughout the last few weeks. All right. Now, with that being said, that will conclude tonight's training. I want to let you guys know that, as you suspect, I'm always around. I'm in the group. If you have any questions specific to tonight's training on Facebook, please engage me in the group and let me know what you guys are in need of. But I strongly want to encourage you to take this information and apply it and get some results right away. All right. So that's it for this week. We'll be back next week for more of the same. And we'll be digging in deeper on some other stuff. So I look forward to connecting to you soon. I hope that this training today has been helpful. I would love to hear from you in the group. Let me know. What did you get out of today's training, from the mindset part to the skill set part? Which part was your aha moment? What is it that you feel added value to your life and your business? And share it with me and share it with others so we all can get something out of it. All right. With that being said, that's it for this week. This training is a wrap. Go forth in victory, and I'll see you soon. God bless.